Hey there, trail trekkers and tall tale seekers. You're tuned in to the 406 Life, the podcast where Montana Max, your Bigfoot buddy and outlaw gear mascot, yeah, that's me, leads you through the wild, weird, and wonderful corners of Montana. Each week we share stories, legends, and laughs from the last best place. So grab your boots and sense of adventure, because we're about to make some Montana-sized memories. This episode's powered by Outlaw Gear, where rebels get their style. Want to look legendary? Mosey over to I'mAnOutlaw.com and claim your outlaw status. Let me ask you something. Have you ever stood at a fence rail, wood worn smooth from 100 years of elbows and anticipation, and watched a gate fly open? And in that half second before anything happens, the whole arena goes quiet. Not silent. Quiet. The way Montana gets quiet right before something significant occurs. And then 800 pounds of the most motivated animal on Earth launches itself into the air, and the crowd exhales, and the rider holds on for dear life, and the clock is ticking, and you think to yourself, this is the most Montana thing I have ever witnessed. That feeling, that specific feeling. That is what today's episode is about, because the 2026 Montana rodeo season is here. And I don't mean here casually. I mean this is a year that rodeo people have been circling on calendars and talking about in feed stores and mentioning to strangers in parking lots. This is a milestone year, and I am going to walk you through every reason why. From Great Falls to Miles City to Big Sky, so that by the time we're done here, you have a plan and a reason to use it. I'm Montana Max. This is the 406 Life. Let's get into it. Before we get into the calendar, let me give you 30 seconds of context, because rodeo has a lot of moving parts and the words can get confusing fast. Rodeo comes from the working ranch. Everything you see in an arena, riding, bucking horses, roping cattle, racing around barrels, all of it was once a practical skill that kept a ranch running. Cowboys and cowgirls started competing against each other to see who was best at the job. That competition is what became the sport. Today there are two main categories. Rough stock events, that's the riding. Bareback bronc riding, saddle bronc riding, and bull riding. In all three, you have to stay on a bucking animal for 8 seconds, using only one hand. You are judged on technique, and so is the animal. The score is shared, which means a legendary bull or a legendary horse can actually help your score, not just try to end your career. Think of it like figure skating pairs, but with significantly higher stakes and considerably more dirt. The second category is timed events. Barrel racing, team roping, breakaway roping. Here the clock is the only judge. Fastest time wins. Knock over a barrel, add 5 seconds. Cross the start line too early in a roping event, add 10. The margins are often hundredths of a second. It is very fast and very tense and very satisfying to watch. Now that you know enough to understand, let's talk about the season. Most people assume rodeo season starts when summer does. Understandable. But the professional calendar in Montana actually kicks off in January indoors at the Montana Expo Park in Great Falls. The Montana Pro Rodeo Circuit Finals, January 15th through 17th, brings together the top 12 athletes in each event from the previous year's standings. 3 nights of competition to determine the best in the state. It also includes something called the Exceptional Rodeo on the final day, where special needs individuals get to interact directly with professional cowboys and cowgirls. That tradition has been going for years, and it is exactly the kind of thing that reminds you this sport is more than competition. It's community. I personally watched from the parking lot. The arena has a height policy. We don't need to get into it. April brings the PBR, the professional bull riders, to Billings, specifically the Unleash the Beast Tour, which is the top level of professional bull riding. Think of it like the NBA, except the athletes are also occasionally launched through the air by a 2,000-pound animal. The first interstate arena at Metropark has hosted this tour 31 times since 1996. Billings earned that loyalty. It is one of the best rodeo crowds in the country, and the atmosphere shows it. This year's stop had a story built into it. A rider named Marco Rizzo returned to Billings exactly 1 year after suffering a career-threatening leg injury at the same arena. He came back to the same dirt and competed. Rodeo produces those moments regularly, and this one was earned. Ready for your next Montana home? Visit mostwantedrealestate.net, because that's how the West is sold. If you do one thing this summer based on this episode, one thing. Go to Miles City in May. The Miles City bucking horse sale turned 75 years old this year. People call it the Cowboy Mardi Gras, which is accurate in energy if not in weather. Here is what makes it genuinely unique. This is not a conventional rodeo. It is a marketplace, a global one. The world's best bucking horses, the animals that will eventually appear in the National Finals Rodeo in Las Vegas or the PBR World Finals in Texas, many of them make their professional debut right here in eastern Montana in May, in the dust of Miles City. What happens there shapes professional rodeo for the next several years. It is the draft day, the opening night, and the Hall of Fame ceremony all packed into 4 days. Plus a Main Street parade, plus live music, plus the general feeling of being somewhere that has genuinely mattered for a very long time. I once tried to enter an animal in their competition. The application process was thorough. I was not approved. Eastern Montana has standards, and I respect that. Go to Miles City. Go for the full 4 days if you can. Here is something the big televised events don't fully capture. All summer long, small Montana towns host weekly rodeo series, Thursday nights and Saturday afternoons at fairgrounds that have been running events since before your grandparents were born. This is where the atmosphere is closest to what rodeo originally was: unpretentious, loud, local. 2 are worth highlighting. In Darby, down in the Bitterroot Valley, the Darby Rodeo Association runs a 5-event series all summer. The opener, the Yellowstone Darby Extreme Bareback in June, has grown into one of the richest standalone bareback events in the entire world. For a small valley in southwest Montana, that is remarkable. Competitors earn points across the full series, and whoever comes out on top at the September finals wins a brand new 4-wheeler. It is a real prize for a real summer of real work. Up in Bozeman, the Valley View Rodeo runs nearly every Thursday night from June through August at the Gallatin County Fairgrounds. Consistent, affordable, and genuinely fun. The series wraps up with a night celebrating the Montana State University rodeo team. A good reminder that the person competing in front of you might have a test on Monday morning. Rodeo people call the first week of July Cowboy Christmas. Here's why. So many professional rodeos happen simultaneously around the 4th of July, across Montana and across the country, that elite athletes can actually compete at multiple events in the same week. More events means more prize money and more points toward the national standings. It is the most financially significant stretch of the regular season, and Montana is right in the middle of it. The 2 events that anchor the holiday here are Livingston and Red Lodge. The Livingston Roundup runs July 1st through 4th. It has been a top qualifier for the National Finals Rodeo since 1924. That is over 100 years of 4th of July rodeo in that town, and you feel every year of it when you're there. This year's event carries an estimated $256,000 in prize money. Red Lodge, the home of Champions Rodeo, runs July 2nd through 4th, dating back to the late 1800s. The name isn't marketing. The cowboys from that region genuinely were national champions repeatedly. That history is still in the dirt there. If you can get to both over the 4th, you will have one of the great Montana weekends of your life. I say that plainly and without any financial stake in either event. Need shipping, shredding, prints, or real street address? Helena's locally owned and operated the UPS store has you covered, located at 2047 North Last Chance Gulch. Stop by and get it done right. July 16th through 18th, Big Sky. And this year is the 15th anniversary of one of the most decorated events in professional bull riding. The Big Sky PBR has been named the PBR's Event of the Year 11 consecutive times. 11. At an outdoor arena at 7,000 feet of elevation, in Montana, in July, when the weather does whatever it wants. 40 of the world's best bull riders compete for the Big Sky Championship. There's live music after each night, real headliners. There's a premium VIP experience with catered food and an auction. And there's the mountain backdrop, which nobody can actually replicate anywhere else on the circuit. Practical notes: parking is limited, so walk from the town center if you can. Bring a jacket regardless of what the forecast says. Mountain weather in July has made promises it could not keep. 2 quick ones before we wrap up. The Northwest Montana Fair and Rodeo in Kalispell runs August 12th through 17th. Over 120 years old, 3 nights of PRCA competition, combined with fair access and concerts. If you're in Glacier Country in August, then this is one you'll want to check out. And if you're visiting Yellowstone National Park this summer, the West Yellowstone Rodeo runs nearly every night from mid-June through late August. This is the most welcoming entry point on the entire calendar for people who are new to rodeo. Kids can participate in a calf scramble. No sign-up required. There are guided rides for younger children and riding lessons for anyone who wants to learn. It is designed to be accessible, and it delivers on that. I blend in well at West Yellowstone. People there are accustomed to encountering large, unexpected things in the wilderness. I have never once been asked to explain myself. I find this deeply validating. Pull back from any single event and the picture gets bigger. The Miles City Bucking Horse Sale turns 75. The Big Sky PBR turns 15. The Billings PBR stop marks its 31st year. And all of this happens in the same year Montana marks the 150th anniversary of the Battle of Little Bighorn, drawing visitors from across the country who are already thinking about Western heritage and history. This season is not just celebrating the past. The Montana High School Rodeo Finals in June and the weekly youth programs at events all summer, the Mutton Bustin', the kids' competitions, the calf scrambles, are actively building the next generation of people who will care about this sport. That's what a healthy tradition actually looks like. That's the 2026 Montana rodeo season, from Great Falls in January to Darby in September, from Miles City to Big Sky. All of it the real thing. All of it worth your time. If this episode gave you one event to circle on the calendar, just one, share it with someone who needs a reason to get outside this summer. That's how the show grows, and it means we get to keep making it. If you enjoyed it, a 5-star review wherever you're listening would go a long way. I would tap those stars myself, but I am working around some physical limitations. Technically speaking, I don't have the right kind of hands for it. I'm counting on you. And if you've got a rodeo story, something you saw, something you felt, something you overheard at a fence rail that you've never forgotten, send it to us at the406life.com. The best ones make it into future episodes. I respect anonymity, by the way. I have built my entire existence around it. I'm Montana Max. This is the 406 Life. Get out there this summer. The dirt is waiting. Got a Montana story, business, or unsolved mystery you want on the show? Head to the 406life.com and drop me a line. No smoke signals required. Don't forget to hit subscribe so you never miss a stomp, stumble, or tall tale. Tell your friends, tell your grandma, heck, tell that guy who swears he saw me near Whitefish. I was just buying donuts, all right? Until next time, keep it outrageous, keep it kind, and keep living the 406 life. Montana Max, over and out.
That's the 406 life, carved